The first skill you need to have to be a successful bookkeeper is reasonable tech skills. So you don't necessarily need to be able to like build your own computer or do a bunch of coding, but you do need to be able to learn a program on the computer with relative ease. Because like many industries, things are changing in the bookkeeping industry. I've been doing it like 12 years now, and things have definitely changed over that time, and they will continue to change. QuickBooks Online is coming out with new updates like every year or every 6 months. Your clients are going to have technology. You're going to have technology that has to do with your own business, like starting a website. So you need to have the mindset that if I don't know it, I can figure it out. And that brings to my second point, which is you need to be a lifelong learner. Honestly, every single client, I have to learn something new. Maybe it's a new part of bookkeeping I haven't done before. Like maybe a new client wants me to use classes for something, or wants me to track inventory or depreciation. Or maybe the client's in a new niche and I have to learn more about medical billing. Or maybe there's a change to the tax law. Maybe you have 10 clients and you're kind of happy with those clients and there's not that many changes. That's totally fine. But in my opinion, anytime you're wanting to grow your business a little bit, that is going to come with some new challenges. Next thing you need is comfort with numbers. So you don't need to be a math genius. You don't need to have taken like really high calculus in high school, but I would describe it as having like a comfort. So you need to be able to understand numbers like in the millions. And if you glance at a number, you can understand, how numbers relate to one another. If you're someone who really transposes numbers all the time, that could be a challenge in bookkeeping. I mean, all of us do that somewhat. And QuickBooks is doing like a lot of the math and the behind the scenes computing. And I actually think a lot of the bookkeeper skill is organizing, because instead of doing math, you're like categorizing everything, which organizing is one of my points coming up. But a comfort with numbers is helpful. Next one is communication. Okay, this is a big one that I didn't really realize when I got into bookkeeping. So first of all, you need to be able to communicate with clients. That is both in the sales part of the relationship when you're first getting clients and trying to get to know them and kind of sell yourself and get them to hire you. And then also down the road, you're going to need to communicate with these people monthly or possibly more often. So if you don't feel like you're that good at communicating or selling yourself, that is a skill that you can definitely improve on. I have a few videos on interviewing. You can check out those. And my biggest advice is just to practice. Practice being comfortable speaking about your bookkeeping business, speaking about yourself and your story and how you can help the client. You can also kind of think about your communication style and what works for you. So maybe you want to practice a little bit and then send them a video explaining one of their reports. I did just have a video come out all about communication with clients, and that was mostly not centered on written communication, so centered on speaking communication. But that is definitely a skill you're going to need to figure out if you want to succeed as a bookkeeper. Next one is being detail oriented is going to really help you as a bookkeeper. And outside of my bookkeeping career, I would actually say I'm not the most detail oriented person. Like if I'm cleaning the kitchen, for example, I'm very focused on being really efficient, getting things done quickly, but I'm not going to like take a toothbrush and like clean the grout lines. But in the bookkeeping world, QuickBooks has you reconcile, and it's basically down to the penny. So if there is one little transaction that's off, I'm going to hunt it down and go find it. And you can build yourself workflows and systems so that you're not constantly having to remember a bunch of details. So maybe you have an onboarding system for your clients. So every time you need to send them a new contract, it goes out automatically, and then there's a follow-up email. And like I said, QuickBooks is doing a lot of that for you. So there are definitely tools to help. And my business name that I chose, FinePoints, actually speaks to that. So I want to help business owners with the fine points or the details of their business so that they can get back to doing what they're good at, which is running their business. Next one I hinted at, and that is being organized. So I have actually always identified as a really organized person. And so when I was able to categorize transactions and put them into little buckets and tweak the chart of accounts and get a really organized report in QuickBooks, like I was like, oh, I love this job. And you're also dealing with people's finances. And in my experience, a lot of times small business owners are neglecting part of their finances that they don't want to do or they think is boring. So maybe they hate saving receipts, or they're really behind on invoicing, or they have a big to-do list of financial items or tax things that they have not followed up on. So you as the bookkeeper, helping them organize and be on top of those tasks. So again, set up really good systems within your business, use online tools to help you get organized. I use Asana to organize all my stuff. And then another piece of this is prioritization. Figuring out what is on fire, what needs to be done today, and what can be pushed off a little bit. And this is also something that comes pretty naturally to me. I will procrastinate things, but overall I keep a sense of like, what is the biggest priority? Like if you give me a deadline, pretty much I'll hit it. So I'm usually able to see the big picture and put things in order of what is most important. And that also leads into having a vision. So as a bookkeeper, I want you to have a vision for your bookkeeping business, set some goals, figure out where you want to be in 6 months, in a year, in 5 years. indicators, and that will help you have a vision for how to scale your business, how to find a niche, how to create marketing funnels, and then you also want to use that skill of a vision building for your clients. So what is their big picture? What are their goals? How can we get some KPIs, some key performance indicators, and track those financial things so that they know where their money is going each month? Maybe there are some systems that are broken or could use tweaking within their bookkeeping world. So maybe how they invoice is really inefficient, or maybe they have some holes in their process that can leave them vulnerable to fraud. I have a video about that also. I will leave it linked in the description box. It's about some things that you can do to safeguard against fraud for your bookkeeping clients. In that description box, I also always have my website linked, FinePoints.biz. There's tons of free and paid resources on my website, so check those out if you're interested. I wanted to tell you guys that I did an update to one of my classes. So these are my two classes. This one helps you start your bookkeeping business in 30 days. This one helps you get bookkeeping clients. And these are both on my website, FinePoints.biz. And a really quick note before I click into this is that if you take this free masterclass about how I got my first 3 clients, it will give you a coupon code that's a discount to Bookkeeper Marketing Coach. Same with this one, there's a coupon code in that free masterclass. Okay, but anyways, if you click into here, the regular price for this is $375, so it's a little bit higher than my other one, but I wanted to try to make it pretty affordable. It gives you tons and tons of great tips about how to get bookkeeping clients. So if you're looking for clients, if you're feeling discouraged, this would really help you out. And these are kind of the main 4 sections. So I have networking, online marketing, onboarding, and mental blocks. And then I just added this bonus lesson. I'm going to change this picture out. Let me know if you have a better idea for that picture. But this is based on feedback from you guys. So this lesson is all about how to get clients without social media. Because I know a lot of people feel really overwhelmed with having to keep up with what's happening on all the different social media platforms. Next thing on my list is a huge one. You need to have grit. So things are going to feel clunky in the beginning. Things are going to happen that surprise you, that you don't know what to do. You're probably going to have imposter syndrome. You're going to be like, I don't know enough to take on clients. A client is going to ghost you, or someone's going to not hire you that you thought was going to hire you. Maybe your website crashes, or QuickBooks is unavailable for half the day. Hopefully it'll help to know that you're not alone and kind of expect some of these things to happen. If you keep on persisting, that is the key. This business really rewards persistence over perfection. So you're going to be like a world-class problem solver. I really found that Facebook groups were helpful to ask questions if I needed to. I haven't been there in a while, but the Successful Bookkeeper was a good one. I think 5-Minute Bookkeeping also has a good one. I have a few videos that talk about where to go if you need help as a newer bookkeeper. Another skill you need as a bookkeeper is to be trustworthy. You are handling people's finances, and that requires them to put a lot of trust in you. So be very careful with sensitive information. Never talk about one client with another client or with people outside of your business. And inevitably, you're going to come across some clients that want to cut some corners. And by that, I mean like deduct things that are not deductible, or kind of semi-dishonestly mix personal and business expenses. And there's a big spectrum to this. Some people are kind of clueless, and if you tell them to do the right thing, then they're going to do it. Some people want you to bend the rules for them. And for those clients, I won't do it. If they want to deduct things that the IRS say are not deductible, like if they want to deduct like their haircuts and their nails and their clothing, and if they don't want to treat travel expenses properly, I'll have a conversation with them once or twice and kind of see where their head's at. I also might chat with their tax preparer, because I'm not the one preparing their taxes. So if me and the tax preparer kind of are on the same page, like, okay, this is not deductible, I'm going to put it in this category. Sometimes then the tax accountant will know how to properly deal with that stuff. But if I feel like the problem is big enough and they are asking me to do things that I'm not comfortable with, I will say, oh, I don't think we're a good fit working together anymore. Because for me, I definitely rather lose a client than compromise my integrity. And again, if you're on different bookkeeper and accountant forums, you're going to see a lot of people cheering you on if you're standing up for your own like morals. I've kind of found that's like a place of solidarity, and people can be like, oh my gosh, my client is being dishonest, it's so frustrating. And then a lot of other bookkeepers will chime in and say, do what you know is right and the client's not worth it. So I feel like the bookkeeping and accounting profession, from what I've seen, is mostly very honest and trustworthy. I don't know, maybe I'm just naive or I've just not come across the other side of things, but let me know in the comments what you think about that. Next one is, as a bookkeeper, you need to be very client focused. And this is kind of a departure from what I was just saying, but if you have a good client, make sure you know, how does your client prefer to be communicated with? Can you adapt your workflow a little bit within reason to fit what their needs are? So maybe they totally hate email. What else can you do to work with them? Maybe they will never ever open a spreadsheet. So should you just do like a 10-minute weekly call and just enter things in the spreadsheet yourself? It also helps to know a little bit about their why. Like, why did they start a business? Are they trying to make the world a better place? Are they trying to earn money for their kids' college? Are they supporting elderly family members? Then you can really align the financial goals to what they want in life. Maybe they don't want to build an empire. Maybe they just want to, earn $100,000 a year and then they're very happy. Let me know in the comments which one of these comes naturally to you and which one you're still working on. Thank you so much for staying till the end. Give this video a thumbs up if you found something helpful, and I will talk to you again next week.